Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. You know, a while ago I said I put a bid in on a plant on eBay, and on reflection I thought at the time of year and the temperatures we've got that's probably a daft idea, but then I put in a low price so I didn't expect to get it. Oh well, I got it, didn't I? So it's been posted, and it's been in the post from the Netherlands 3 days. It's here. Strictly speaking, 2.5 days because it's lunchtime. That's not bad going, is it? And it was tracked. I love that because it means you can have a look at a map and there's a little marker on the map with you and then a little red marker with a picture of a van on it showing where they are and how close they're getting. Bang on time as well. Right, let's see what we got. We have some bubble wrap in here. That's a good sign. As I said, this is not a good time of year to be posting orchids, but let's see what we got. I'm going to have a bit of a conundrum with this as to what to do with it. Well, the package doesn't feel cold, so that's not bad. It's just literally come off the van now and straight in here, so it doesn't feel cold. The time packages are most likely to get cold is when they come across the sea. Whether they come over the top of it or on it, that's the time they're most likely to get cold. I have a feeling I'm about to be disappointed. Never mind. Right, so what we've got is a little Psychopsis. And the reason I went for this is it's one with a nice pattern to the leaf. Quite a bit of grit around the top of the pot that has promptly fallen out in the box. Not the end of the world. Right, so that is a tiny plant, but this is the species, I believe. Have we got any paperwork in here? Let's have a look. I've forgotten. I suspect the paperwork was actually on the outside of the box, which I took off so it wasn't on camera. So what have we got then? We will have to watch out because the first thing I can see is a hole in a leaf. So that's normally a slug or a snail does that. Now, they could be in the pot. But I won't say it's a young plant, but it probably is, relatively. But nonetheless, we've got a new growth round here and a new growth here, so it is growing. I'm going to take a risk and lift that out of the pot. We have roots. Oh, I'm over the moon. It is in moss or some sort of mossy substance, but nonetheless these do not like being disturbed. So quite honestly, I'm not going to disturb it. This is its bad time of year with me because it's going to have to put up with the cold. But what I will do is I will put it in a place over there, which is at the moment that area over there is the warmest spot because it's in the line of fire of the heater. You know, whereas where I would normally keep it would be a slightly cooler spot, and this needs as much warmth as I can give it to get it through the winter, and then we'll deal with it. But I'm quite pleased that when I come to deal with it, I've got a good root system. Quite a few of those roots are actually out of that soggy media, so rather than disturb it, I think what I'll do is I'll just put some grit in the bottom of another pot, one that I can see, and I'll have a good look over and see if I can see any snails or slugs. I can't actually see anything at the moment, but the sort of snails you get on orchids are those tiny little ones. And then I'm going to keep it quite dry. I'm not going to keep this wet at all. I'm just going to keep it just enough to hydrate it to get it through the winter. And then I may mount it. I'll have a think about it, but I've got quite a long wait before I need to deal with it. All I need to do is stop the roots that I've got rotting during the colder weather. That's all I've got to do. And then once I get it out the other side, perhaps we can get it going a bit. A couple of weeds in there, we won't worry about that. And that's the first purchase from Orchid Man in the Netherlands that I've done for a very long time. A lot of my plants originated from there, and a lot of my large, that are now virtually specimen-sized dendrobiums came from there originally. So I think my first few Latorias may have come from there, but certainly a lot of my larger ones, my Hercoglossum, my my Findlayanum, quite a few actually originated from there that are now excellent plants. So all I've got to do is keep this going, not let the base of the plant get wet, and do something about those roots, which I've still got this little dendrobium to sort out, which is aberrans, which is a very small plant. These do not get large, so there's me thinking I've got a young plant here. It has been grown on from a seedling, tiny little pseudobulbs gradually getting bigger, the telltale sign, but it's not far off blooming size, quite honestly. It even looks like that largest pseudobulb there has either attempted to bloom, it certainly hasn't, but this, although this is a tiny little plant, it is a small growing dendrobium, and I want to get this one mounted. So I've allowed that moss to dry. So I think what we'll do is we'll go out in the kitchen now and have a look at these two. We'll get this one mounted, because the time of year doesn't matter so much with that. That's got a new growth, probably some new roots coming out. The ones I can see are a bit papery. But there should be enough there to get that mounted and keep that alive till the growing season. And then what we'll do is we'll get this in a clear pot so that I can see what I'm doing, and get some sort of gritty media around those bare roots, just to keep them in something, rather than keep them aerial where they might dry off. And then just keep the plant a bit dry. So yeah, lovely patterned leaves on this one. The last one I had plain leaves. And we'll see what we can do with it. We'll see what we can do. It was sold as near blooming size, not blooming size. I mean, it's never had a spike on it. And it may be a year or two before it spikes. But I'm starting off with a reasonable plant. These are hard to get hold of. Speciotics have got a couple, mainly the plain leaved ones. I may get another one. I always had two for quite a long time, and then gradually they whittled themselves away, and the last one got binned not that long ago. And that wasn't because it didn't bloom, it was because it was a lousy plant. I just got fed up with looking at the sight of it. So we'll see what we can do with that one, and we'll have a sort out of the aberrans while we're out messing about in the kitchen. So yeah, so a new plant. So yet again, me not buying orchids. But I did say if I saw a reasonable Psychopsis at a reasonable price, I would get it. And I paid not a lot of money for that. Not a lot at all. I paid more for the postage than I did for the plant. Let's put it that way. So a nice cheap Psychopsis. Let's hope it isn't a lousy plant. The leaves feel firm. They feel good. This is a hydrated plant, but then I would think it is because it's absolutely soaking wet at the moment. That I want to change. I want to get this in a position where it can stay almost dry through the colder months. And we'll see what happens. See you next time.